my name is Vix. I'm a special needs educator from South Africa and welcome to my channel. So in my first two videos, I've done activities that related to pegging or posting, where you take something and you put it in a hole and you match or something like that, activity types. So today's activity or toy that I've created to show you is kind of the same but also a lot different. Today's activity is called a object permanence box. So basically the principle of this box is you take a ball and you put it in and the ball rolls out. So the purpose of this is to teach young children and babies that just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it's out of your existence. It doesn't exist anymore. So this is quite important, and I know a lot of institutions like Montessori also make use of this, and there are wooden object permanence boxes that actually are very nice but can be extremely expensive. I love wooden toys, don't get me wrong, but they can shake your budget. So if you are like me and you're looking to save a little bit, this box is for you. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did to make this. So I've used a very narrow shoebox. You could actually say, I'm sure this was for sandals. I don't really think it was for sneakers or trainers or whatever you want to call them. It's very narrow. You're going to need a 2-part box because you're going to need a tray and then a top part, obviously. So a shoebox works quite well, but whatever you can find and improvise on, you can do as long as it suits you and as long as you can make it happen for yourself, because I mean, after all, my channel is all about making toys from stuff you find lying around. So what I've done was, to start out, I cut a piece because obviously the box was all the way up to here. So I'm going to show you on the reverse side of the box. I cut a small piece like this over here. I did not cut everything, as you can see up to here. I didn't cut the whole thing off. I left a small piece which I then folded over like this, as you can see on this side. And then I cut off another small piece and I stuck it on top so that it can have a flap. Just for the mystery side, you know, you want them to actually see it just rolling out. You don't want them to see too much inside the box. So I left my opening quite wide. I tried to leave it wide enough so that the ball can fit through. And then I basically just cut a hole in the top as well. Once I've finished this, I cut a hole in the top and I added a layer of, you get this kind of foam paper, whatever you can get that can strengthen it a little bit, because as soon as you cut a hole in the top of a box, I've made a lot of toys from boxes, and if you cut a hole in, like a bigger hole in a box, it tends to compromise the integrity of the structure of the box on top. So then it tends to buckle and it becomes weak. So I've just added this for a little bit of extra support and strength, which I glued on top. So I measured a hole. I took the ball and I kind of saw how big I could go, and then I found a glass, or what did I use? I think I used a small glass to just kind of trace a circular hole, and then I cut a hole inside. Then I like to put a kind of a highlight or an emphasis on the hole, especially for children who have low vision, or just for the focus of this is where the ball kind of goes. I like to adapt it kind of in that way. You don't really have to do that yourself. I know that they don't do it on the wooden object permanence boxes, but this is kind of why I chose that, just to inform you. So after I was done, I covered it with cling film or Decifix, self-adhesive basically, just to kind of get it to last longer, because you know, I've explained earlier to you that if you don't, and especially with paper and things, if your child spills something on or whatever, now you can just wipe it off. It's not the end of the world. The toy will also last you much longer. So then I stuck that on and I covered it, and I also covered the tray with Decifix, and I also stuck this little flap on, like I said, which I also covered. I actually originally tried to make a little curtain of ribbons so that it would just be a little bit more mysterious, but then the ball did not really want to go through that, so I just cut it off. I'm kind of sharing my discovery journey here with you guys so that, you know, you don't make the same mistake that I did. I didn't see the need really to paint the box because, I mean, it's already a bright color. Then, one of the most important things is you are going to need, and this is what I used, you're going to need a little something to raise up that box at the back. I used a wooden or a foam block that I actually just cut in half. It's made out of foam, so it was really easy for me. I've just used one just to give it a little bit of the edge, because if you, let's say for instance, take the ball and your surface is straight and you drop it in, the ball is not going to roll out. You're going to need to make it so that it is sloped at an angle so that the ball will roll out and that your child can get it easily from the tray. You can get a little bit frustrated with this if you don't really know the ins and outs, which is why I've made a point of showing you exactly what to do. You can also use a larger box if you want to use a shoe box, or I don't know, a cake box, or whatever box that you can find. You can do that, but just make sure that then if you have on the sides some more box sticking out, you're going to need a piece of something inside that will basically herd the ball towards the exit, because otherwise it can get stuck in the corners and that can be really frustrating, and that kind of, you know, defeats the whole purpose of the thing. You want object permanence to see that, oh, it's coming to roll out. So that is just basically another little tip that I have for you. You're going to need to make something. You don't, I mean, you can use whatever you can find. If you have popsicle sticks and you glue them together and you put them on top, it doesn't really matter, whatever you can find. Or if you want to use Lego blocks or whatever stuff that you have, you can use it, as long as your box has a sloped angle that goes forward so that the ball can roll out. So this is basically all that I've done. I did not paint the box, as I said, because the color is bright enough. You can even use a ball that, you can use different kinds of balls. I have a ball also that makes a little sound, so if you put it in, it just kind of reinforces the whole thing a little bit more of the object permanence. I have this one, and then I have a heavy ball, so you can also hear the sound, and this one is kind of bigger and heavier. So you're just going to need to see, you can even use golf balls. You can use, if you have different kinds of sensory balls that you like to use with your child or baby, you know, by all means, it's just as kind of more to the purpose of the whole thing. Balls with different textures, or a ball with a peanut inside, you know, you get those little balls with the nuts inside it that makes a little shaking sound. You can even add those. We have some of those that I like to use. So yeah, you can really do a lot with this simple activity. As I've said, there are many uses for these kind of things. So just make sure, like I said, when you've made your box, the two things that are very important, you need to have something that, if you don't have a narrow box, you need to have two things that kind of nudge your ball, or when it rolls in, that kind of herds it to the exit. I don't really know how else to explain. And to have a slope. That is the two most important things that I would say, that I would emphasize in my struggle to get this created. So yes, basically it's not going to set you back a lot of money. I would say maybe 5 to 10 rand, under $1 in American currency. An old shoebox is really just something that you have. I think the most that you're going to look for, if you're going to want to paint it or cover it, is the DC fix, or the covering that you're going to use, or the cling film, or whatever that you're going to use, I would say. But that basically, like I said, it just makes it more durable and gives it a longer life. So that is it from me. This is going to be very much fun to do with my little ones. Thank you very much for watching my videos, and for those who like and subscribe, a big shout out. Thank you very much. If you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe. I upload new videos on DIY toys every fortnight or 2 weeks, and ring the notification bell if you want to be alerted every time that I do. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. My contact details will be in the description. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.